Hello, hello, said it's good to be back. Oh wait, that's not Oasis, that's the dodgy bloke, isn't it? And welcome to the deleted scenes for Bound for Glory and Impact Afterwards, the first pair of episodes from our brand new story arc covering the Main Event Mafia in 2008-2009 TNA. If you're new to these deleted scenes vid, I'm Jay Hunter, by the way. Here's where I'll go through the making of the episodes and along the way show you what didn't make the final episode, the deleted scenes left on the cutting room floor. Now, most of them are just cut for pacing reasons, because OSW episodes are usually 90 to 120 minutes long, so although nothing's bad, just you wouldn't miss it if it were gone, and hopefully the episode never feels sluggish, and the time flies by. I'm gonna go through the episode chronologically and chime in with any notes I have as we go along. So, a bit of a watch along with hindsight and deleted scenes thrown in. Enjoy! First off, the announcement video. This was both recorded and edited after the first episode was finished and uploaded to YouTube and cooking on copyright, as getting the episode done is the hard part and is the priority, and sure, the announcement video I can get together in a few hours, you know. OSC actually makes a wee reference to us having already recorded Bound for Glory. Episode 1, Bound for Glory, 2008.
Nah, I don't want to do that one.
Oh, okay, shit. And that's OSC's Kayfabe Breaker. New arc, new intro video. So there's a couple of components to it. So there's the music, there's the artwork, and then there's the animation. So the music, which you're listening to now, was made by the amazing Mono Memory from Edinburgh. He's in Edinburgh. If you watch any YouTubers do big vids on Resident Evil, you've likely heard his work. I first discovered him with his Resident Evil save room music. In fact, Resi 2 is my favourite one. Splicey. I've used and promoted his stuff on my Resi 2 remake review. Go watch that, there's an episode's worth of editing in that half hour. Mono, aka Aaron, was very patient with me because we worked real hard to get it sounding perfect. There were 4 main iterations of the theme song, 4take J. I mean, the bulk of it and melodies were all there from the get-go. It was mostly just tweaking and getting the intro hook right. Here's the first draft. Bit DX with the bass drum, right? The doom doom. Here's V2. Bit closer, right? And here's what the final intro sounds like. Now it has to tweak the ending, as I felt it just kind of ended, as opposed to being a culmination of the song. Culmination. Eh? And here's the final version. Meh. So, any better, you know, hopefully my meddling helps out, and now you know how awful it is to work with me. Hooray! But if you need custom music, please hire Mono. Dude's extremely versatile, efficient, great communication, looking to make this his full-time gig. I'll link him in the description. Now that the music's sorted, move on to the visuals. I've been working with Jetpack Bragan a ton over the last while, as he did really great with the Christmas Raw thumbnail. Like, he wasn't used to drawing humans. It's usually the completionist dressed as Link or Crash Bandicoot or something, so why not give him a go-see at this? And he did fantastic, drawing wrestlers in GTA poses. Kurt was the hardest, we spent the most time on it, as he's the Nico Bellic of this arc. I thought it best to keep him recognisable in his ring gear rather than having him in Nico's clothes. Velvet Sky, as a lollipop girl, was originally Karen Angle, before realising that she split from TNA right before Bound for Glory. This was Joe's last pay-per-view with the world title, so I thought it'd be cool to have him with the belt, even if it is just for one episode. And there's Sting, because you're gonna have Sting. I love the little dart of the eyes into the camera, so made sure to use that as the exclamation point before the end. 2 full colour scenes I popped in there as well with Pac-Man Jones overlaid. He was playing dominoes, gotta have him in there, it's TNA. And here's Kurt escaping from the cops. Now I'm realising that doubles as a reference to Kurt getting like 4 DUIs in 6 years during his time in TNA. Do you remember he had that little ECW gum shield in there for funsies? What's great about Sean, amongst many things, is that he draws in layers with an animator in mind. So he'll draw body parts separately so they can be moved, like Kurt's torso, his medals, forearms, gloves separately. Even a different face, depending on how angry you want him. And then my boy, Lee Mounsey Smith, puts them all together. I wanted to maintain the GTA 4 feel, because that has just static images, but adding just a little motion to fancy it up a little, so hope you dug it. Lee also drew the title cards. We have the original GTA font, but I wanted to see it in 3D, so he actually learned how to for this episode. Here it is in America red, white and blue, and then a gold one. Like a Ferrero Rocher, why not? But we stuck with the original GTA font price down in 2D just to make sure the reference hit home. Episode start. Dan McRae sourced and chopped this wonderful rando TNA footage you see in the episodes, and in this video too. It's great to have something cool to fill in the blank spots, and it also kind of hints at a bigger world of the review. Oh my god, that is so wanky. But Maximum Male Models, they responded to OOC about wanting to join right after Christmas. It was hard to keep a lid on that until we recorded again. We actually split this and the walk in quote into the impact review, so each lovely thing got its own time to shine. So flattering, lovely to hear actual wrestlers and lovely lads are fans of the show. It blows my mind. It's absolutely mental to think about. Thank you, Masse and Mansoir. Do you like the Tashinden 4 Dance Master 2 song we gave them? $190,000 subs. Man, it actually pays to ask people to sub, because I hate it on YouTube video when people say like and subscribe, notification bell, it's quit hustling people to watching the show. I hate it. I don't want to do it. I would like the result of it, but I don't ask for it. But like, it pays because literally the day of release, March 26, 2023, was our biggest ever one-day jump in subscribers. 234, with the video netting us almost 500 subs so far. Okay, alright, I'll stop complaining. Wow. And we're gender specific because no women watch our show is an Aqua Teen reference. And it was also kind of a fun troll to ask women who watch our show to out themselves. So, like, it's cool as fuck to hear that women enjoy the show too. So, like, I would like to hear from you. The 6%ers. Anyway, VCDs. Oh, dude, I was so happy to find these. Like, they've been in storage, banging around somewhere in my gaff since being in India on medical elective with V1. We were there for a couple of months. It was amazing. I actually opened them for the video you're seeing right now. VCDs are video CDs, a short-lived format in the 2000s and actually still going in the 2010s. basically putting a DVD onto a CD, which is a seventh of the size. It was totally a pirate format. Usually Asia, like India, Philippines, that kind of thing. MPEG-1 compression, we use MP4 now. Usually 240p or 288p in a 4:3 frame, like old wrestling. 1.15 megabits per second, which is 87 times smaller than Blu-ray. Absolutely abominable quality. Loved being able to splice in a bit of such a dead format. I hear the Sega Saturn can play them. Some of them anyway.
Let's try and reset it for you. Historic, first ever King of the Mountain.
Nil demands. That's a Carl Pilkington Rockbusters quote. Carl Pilkington, fantastic brain, a comedic genius without knowing it. He was on the Ricky Gervais animated show and the podcast and stuff like that. Highly recommend watching it. In Rockbusters, he gives cryptic clues to a famous singer or band, and you have to try work it out. So, okay, singer initials ND. The clue is that Jamaican fella doesn't want anything. ND. Nil demand. Nil demand. Neil Diamond. There's compilations of it on YouTube and stuff. You have a look. Different versions. Nick Acosta. Oh, mate. Amazing. I've been working with him to AI upscale old OSW audio, and he offered to upscale TNA Bound for Glory for us too, from 720p 30 frames a second to 1080p 60 frames a second. What did you think of the smoother frames per second? Did it look too fast? Was it just amazing? Or did you not notice at all? We barely got any comments on it, so I imagine it's kind of option C there. Ooh, there is a wee deleted scene here. We just mentioned more about the Where's the Lie getting a resurgence after the Christmas episode dropped. And man, I swear Platinum Max Caster watched the show as a few days after he tweeted out, Where's the Lie?
Are you sure now? Because wasn't this a meme? It was
in October, and then nothing about it.
Okay.
And then
it definitely became a meme after the episode.
Really?
I've seen loads.
Okay.
Yeah.
He jumped on the bandwagon and he was selling t-shirts, which I think is awesome. If you can make more money, all power to you, mate. Delighted.
fantastic.
I haven't changed my stance on this still, by the way. Like, if you watched the rest of that segment, it was the deathly silence, even for Bully Ray. And I hope Fish makes good out of this, but like, no way was he to blame for this.
I mean, folks. Man, jeez, people are very happy with the Christmas show. It's really cool to be part of their day on Christmas Day. They spend part of like really big day of the year with us. So it's really cool.
Yep.
And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
Our music bra Beefy, he made OS'd up, OS'd up, OS'd up. And he made a song around the hook he's made like Brett's Rope. And you can hear the full thing on his Patreon, link below.
Maybe you just fell for a bluff. I see that math and checking now. You ain't no big pop-up pump. I'm always masking out in public, so I'm generating revenue. The only source I'm trusting are those boys from OSW. I just hit you with the moves I know. Rematch them and they be like, no. No, I came for the smoke, but these guys are a joke. They all mid like they Brett's Rope.
X Division deleted scene. See, each match is edited in isolation, and then I put it all together and kind of look at the pacing as a whole. If we jump in on each other's point, then you'll get our opinion of the match. So if the long version is very similar, then you haven't really gotten good value for your time, and the episode starts to get sluggish. Post Steel Asylum match, the points were already made, and we've mentioned Brock Angle before too, so this got the snip. Sorry, V1.
We're back to the Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 19 issue where there's a big difference between doing it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and after you've sprinted through a 12-minute match. Like, there's a big difference. So, yeah. This was wild, a move per second match, insanely paced. absolutely incredible wrestlers doing difficult spots at high pace, and with the exception of the one move not fucking up, which is impressive stuff. I will say I hate the red cage. I think it's ugly. I think it makes it difficult to shoot this match because the hard cam can't get through it and you can't see anything. So it forces them to get in close, to shoot the action up close. And because it's such fast moving action, they literally can't keep up. So what you get is 2020 WWE action with camera cuts, zooms, moving in and out. And at times, I actually thought it was ugly to watch, but the action was amazing. I love the wrestlers. I don't think this has ever been brought up on the show, but the Motor City Machine Guns are my favorite tag team.
I didn't know, Steve.
The more I watch them, the more I realize that they may actually be my favorite TNA act of all time. Like, I just think they're exceptional.
Don West, man, real glad the segment giving D-Dub his props went over well. Lots of people got in contact with us thanking us for talking about him. He's great, isn't he? He's so cool. Ooh, in a future episode of the show, do you know the way we have Hogan giving you the information in the little red bar at the start of the show? We'll put Don West there. Just give me a few episodes to get our work done.
Mick, right. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. I'll just be here holding down the fort.
Anything you want. My office is your office.
Ooh, a little bit of a Jim Cornette history in TNA bit here. Have to do it now because Bound for Glory, he literally shoved these off to make way for Mick Foley as the on-screen authority figure. It happens again with Miss Brooks. Well, married to Kazarian, so, it is Mrs. Anyway, I don't know if she'll be in future episodes, so best get her out of the way. Matt Muscles mentioned that he was surprised there was no company-wide retrospective at the start of the episode. Well spotted, mate. I actually started writing a history of the company bit, but it was kind of ballooning and it would have been like 40 minutes long. I knew since this was the launch of the story arc, the first episode, so much to talk about and it ended up being around 2 hours, I best just save it for down the line. Also, I rewatched our TNA retrospective, This Was Wrestling. God damn, it covers all the bases. It'd just need a 2008 specific portion, and we could just use that. Anyway, that's for a future episode or a standalone video down the line. Mick Foley has so many quick references and quips. It sends our review off topic, even more so. Like the Yerpel the Clown bit. Clown! And Angelina with the blue M&Ms. By the way, Yerpel gets monster heat from me. He's like, "Hey Vinny, how you doing, Vinny?" To Vince McMahon in the hospital, as Vince isn't a fucking child, she's a stranger. Like, this familiarity is not appreciated. "Hey Vinny," like if some dickhead came up to me and, "Hey Jimmy, how you doing, Jimmy?" Oh,
Yerpel!
Hey Vinny, how you doing? I came to make you feel better, Vinny.
Quickie deleted scene. V1 talks about being sick of Mick Foley's WWE references, and I felt quite a bit sour, and he does mention it later on, so we just kept that. But here you go.
I've been watching every impact in the build here. Everything that Foley has done so far has irritated me so much.
Oh, no.
Like, I really like Mick Foley. Honestly, he's one of the all-time great shoot guys in professional wrestling. Great professional wrestler. Had great memories of watching him.
Great stand-up.
But
We couldn't let it go.
No.
But his TNA run so far, everything is just a WWE reference, and I fucking hate it. I'm like, why are you being brought in here to talk about there?
Yeah, but
and how great there is.
Just bear in mind that at the time, I like, you two were way more on the fence than me, but you were
all in.
I was all in, massive mark for TNA and fuck WWE. So I wanted to hear this stuff, and I'd say I wasn't alone in that.
Oh, you should really get into the early days of AEW. They were all about that, like Cody smashing up thrones and things like that. You'd love it.
With a sledgehammer, yeah.
I also want to go out of my way to thank someone very special, Vince McMahon, for making the decision to leave WWE an easy one.
Bimbo Brawl. Chris Nye's portion of the review. My boy Chris Vaughn. So many Chris's. We can't have any more Chris's. Or J's. I can only have one. Anyway, Chris wasn't well before finishing his part of the video edits, so I brought aboard Chris Nye's. Can you tell Nye's did the initial video pass of this match and the next? Hopefully not. They both did an incredible job and have edited for dozens of OSW videos over the years. Amazing job, lads. You make OSW better. Thank you for lending your talent to the show. At the time of recording, I have them tag teaming the TNA Turning Point review. That's so clever. He doesn't have to bring 10 signs. He can just,
I would imagine there'd be like, if you were going to WWE and try that, there would be zero chance because they know you could literally write anything, you know.
E-N-U-S.
Smelly Fanny.
Smelly Fanny. The face on V1. This is one of those times I wish we had a camera in the room because he holds his hands up like he's holding a sign and he just like scrunches up with a mean face and Smelly Fanny. Died. It was hilarious watching Raka Khan matches. This is like, because V1 gets all the spicy, and then I still need to get, dozens and dozens of bits of spicy as well, just bits that I want to put in. And I was reviewing Raka Khan matches, and I was like, wow, you are a terrible wrestler. And so I had to splice it at the end of her match.
Cover and 3 count.
Quickie deleted scene where OSC talks about 2K22. We kind of passed March already, so it wasn't free anymore, so it felt mean to leave it in. But anyway.
Only other thing I just wanted to mention, WWE 2K22 is included with PS Plus at the moment, PS Plus Extra, until March. So I said, give it a go doing My Rise at the moment. It's fine,
Is it the career mode?
Yeah, career mode.
Like the gameplay's fine, but I wasn't the biggest fan. Like there's no story.
No.
It's social media based.
And it's like, I don't like you, I'm going to fight you. Okay, that you beat him, now move on to the next person. But anyway, it's quite boring, but as far as the wrestling is perfectly adequate, the actual controls.
Looks great.
It looks amazing. But at one point, in order to progress your storyline, I didn't want to do it. You have to do a mixed tag team like tournament thing where the winner of this tournament gets to be GM for the week or whatever. It's so pointless and stupid. Now, the Money in the Bank ladder match was the worst, most frustrating one, but this is a close second because you're not allowed to touch the female wrestler of the opposing team, and if you do, it's a DQ. But the problem is your opponent will always run in and break up your pin, but your tag team partner never does fuck all about it, so you're just praying that she won't run in time to break up the pinfall. But anyway, it's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
So it's harder in the game than in real life?
Yes.
And does Rhino win?
Is Rhino in? Can you get him?
If he buys a copy.
Talk about an intense competitor. This superstar doesn't have an off switch.
Deleted scene. The Austin Creed Pro America chat was really long, so he snipped the guest announcer bit. OSC's mid-match questionarium, which I love, was the perfect place to just launch into the middle of the bout, so you wouldn't even know it was missing.
I still feel like this is his debut almost. It's weird.
We've covered his two biggest TNA matches, yeah.
Was he in the Fan Fest? The TNA
Yes, he was the one who was marking out to his pictures and showing his mum.
Oh, right. It was like, does he have his gloves on?
He should have, no.
And he can try sign autographs with
Brilliant.
Do you see this? That's me. Mom, I'm on a picture. This is sweet.
We kind of glossed over, all right, Sheikh Bashir, he hurls abuse in foreign, Persian.
I have it written here, he speaks in dirty foreign.
And Don West says, oh, shut up. Great. And then they wheel out Sergeant Cassara here, who actually saw active duty, the guest announcer.
He did a great job, by the way.
Hails from Atlanta, GA, representing the USA.
Very odd putting fans in a position where you love America, right? Well, I love America, so you are legally obliged to cheer me.
Isn't this how they brought in Jesse Neal?
He didn't go with the America gimmick.
He
was a Marine.
Was seaman.
Yeah. He was, but he never, like, it was mentioned, but it wasn't his thing.
No, but he came in, like he made his TNA debut.
Yeah, dressed in the
doing this
in the full uniform.
Well, in my memory, he's a Buster when he goes to the mother and son competition, and he's wearing the navy suit, but it's for kids, and he's got the little schooly boodly shorts. I'm pretty sure that's how Jesse Neal came out dressed.
Alright, I was thinking like he gets Job's stripper outfit, and like it's like to get the pants the right side, the top had to be a little snug. All regulation.
What the hell are you wearing?
It's all regulation, Michael. To get the top right, the pants had to be a little snug.
The Cheer Me Because I Love America, didn't that not die out with Lex in 1993?
Yeah.
I'd say 91 with Slaughter and Hogan was the last time that bollocks worked.
هرکسی دست داری فکر کردی نکردی بیا به من میزنم تو کله خلاص.
Oh, shut up.
Knockouts triple threat. Oh man, died. We launch into giving Roxy Laveau abuse. The Simpsons Bush animation, that was literally the last addition to the episode, as I just had the Simpsons one in there for the longest time. Sean knocked out a drawing in like 2 days, and Lee an animation in 2 days. It was like a Friday to a Tuesday or something, and getting the whole thing back. I was so happy with it. Monsters Ball. That grammar discussion over monsters and apostrophes, we did have it in our previous TNA arc too, and I used the same Homer Says artwork. The original one goes in a much different direction though. It's quite funny. I check it out. Bound for Glory 2007.
Why did they not film opening a door and the wrestlers come out and go
Poor old Mongo, man. He's in a bad way. He does yearly ALS charity drives with a Super Bowl watch-along. So if you want to donate to him and donate to ALS, February is the time to do it. And I'll tweet out whenever we're in February. I mentioned the Best of Braden Walker DVD, which is one of the earliest, like, amazing, dying, laughing internet wrestling videos I have. Really strong memories of that. Like, I remember being at V1's house and literally being on the floor crying watching it. It was so funny.
It was a fantastic couple of weeks when Braden Mania swept ECW.
It's still on YouTube. Like, it's from 2008. The definitive Braden Walker 3-disc DVD trailer, SWH Firebird. Yeah, check it out.
The definitive Braden Walker. Available now on WWEshop.com.
V1 mentions the Dudleys as the greatest brawling tag team, and then I chime in the greatest walking tag team, and they can have a few. The joke here is a very old OSW reference to Walk and Brawl. These wrestlers like Duggan and Piper, who seem to only lose by getting counted out, as, you know, they're too busy walking outside the ring and brawling, and oh, look at that, so you get out of jobbing. Anyway, Walk and Brawl. Deleted scenes, snipped a bit of post-match, and whello, just for pacing, really quick.
Everyone looked good. Beer Money were super over this time. LAX were mega over and great. Matt Morgan looked fantastic. He did a spot where he did Taker's walking the ropes, and then he jumped over the person whose hand he was holding and hit the dude behind them. And I was like, mate, you do have everything to make it. You just have to put it together, and he never quite did.
They wouldn't let him do the Elevator. He was trying to do it on Homicide at one point, and I just knew he wouldn't let him do it.
He was having none of it.
Yep.
Ruby Soho and Willow. Wow! The match built up to a massive table spot, okay? And Willow is coming. She landed arse first on the table and shoot powerbombed Anna Jay onto the concrete.
Oh God, no.
It was fucking horrific.
Oh God.
It was disgusting. It was terrifying.
Or chicken coop.
Yeah.
There we go. Everyone's happy.
No. I would rather just not have any
just
spot.
don't do it.
Don't do the chicken coop spot. No spot. Just no.
Damn.
But in this case, nobody fucked up. Everything went off without a hitch.
Yep.
Yet, look at the carnage that was created here.
Welcome back. Before the break, we asked you which Vince McMahon project had a famous UFC fight with Randy Couture.
Ad break questionarium from It's Not Cage Fighting. Very cool to have these lads on. I'm chatting to Carl behind the scenes and trying to help out where I can. General YouTube box, man, lovely guy. Carl got back to me with this so quickly and he's great to work with. They're big wrestling fans as well. There's a couple gateway videos like their Punk and Brock UFC vids, so check them out. Booker T's match, his triple threat. I love how OSC immediately veers off from Christian, Booker and AJ straight into Shane Sewell. Like, move aside, lads. Shane Sewell, whom he loves back in the day for some reason. We will find out in the future whenever he wrestles Sheik Bashir at Genesis. We'll make sure we do it. It's not part of the story arc. We're going to cover it. I also like that OSC was quite taken with Gilles de Bilde, the Belgian footballer, with an amazing name. No, it just stuck in my head for some reason. De Bilde.
Helemaal niet verwacht dat ik erbij zou zijn.
Deleted scene V1 on the Kurt Angle WWE promo that Jeff Jarrett aired, and there's also some post-match analysis whose points are repeated elsewhere.
You know, Kurt, 2 years ago, I had to step away. I handpicked you to fill my shoes. As the founder of TNA Wrestling, it's the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
So Jeff Jarrett has a go at Kurt Angle, brings up that he was putting over Vince, and then he plays a clip of an interview that they did from 2006 when Kurt Angle joined TNA. I'd kick his ass if I ever saw him. I hate Vince McMahon. He's a terrible man. So Kurt was furious.
That's being a That's what you are. You're a complete Vince. Next time I see you, I will knock you on your because you're a stupid son of a
and then the last kind of bit of the build is when they start bringing Foley back. And in my opinion, everything he did kind of took from this angle because I thought that this was a very heated angle and it was really good. But look, overall, still really good. And I was psyched about seeing Kurt and Jeff. He's just always working.
Yep.
Like he's never out of character for a second.
Yep. Much like Rowe.
Yeah.
Start healing ahead on the guy in the chipper. Like, I ordered no salt on it. No salt.
Where's my battered sausage? Jeff is famously great for his punches and Kurt is just as good. So yeah, I love this. Like they work super hard. They kept that pace up for 20 minutes. That's insane. But the Jeff Jarrett curse happened at the end. The finish was overbooked. Like, I would still say overall, this was my favorite match of the night. And I'm afraid for the main events of the arc going forward that you've got this electric undercard with incredible X Division wrestlers and tag team hot as fuck. And then we're going to have fucking guitar shots and ref bumps and Foley all. And I'm genuinely worried. I do have it written here. Just want a special mention to the commentary. I thought they were incredible in this match, especially Iron Mike Tenay at the very end when he's going, yeah, and Janosha, Janiqua, Jamiroquai, back at home. Daddy did this for you. I was like, that's Jamiroquai. That's a fucking great call, Mike. I don't know what is going on. I know that they're all J's, right?
Yeah, even the wife Jill. So
Yeah.
they all have the same. They got a discount on the monograms, the bathrobes. You see?
And I've got to send a shout out to Nashville, Tennessee. Jocelyn, Jacqueline, Sharon, Jamiroquai.
to the cross, and they take him and just throw him through the flaming table.
Man, just between the Abyss flaming table spot, we have no other notes on that, and Samoa Joe's sick bump, man, this pay-per-view is a milestone.
And Joe comes running across and Sting.
You gotta be kidding me!
Deleted scene with Sting and Joe. A quick aside about prequel themes and repeating the bit that was bleeped at the start of the review. Quickie looking at them backstage. TNA show off their kind of prequel themes, which is this kind of searching, incomplete version of their music.
Yeah, which I really like.
Yeah, before they go make their entrance. Yeah, Jarrett's one was quite good, actually.
Been all about respect to him. In his mind, these guys are not going about it the right way.
here comes the reigning champion.
Sting, the challenger, out first, looking preoccupied to a mixed reaction. Joe does his stone cold trash talk to the ring, but he's too close to the mic, so they have to bleep him, because he says,
"I'm the baddest motherfucker on this planet."
We talked about how he had his game face on.
340 days a year, wrestling in front of a few hundred in a small gymnasium for $20, Joe. $50 on a good day, Joe.
Oh, just a note on Sting's 340 days a year. I've been told some wrestlers actually purport this. Like, there's a documentary saying 350 days a year. That's 2 weeks off in total in 1 year. That's 1 day off every month, pretty much. Bollocks. Unless you count washing clothes and answering your phone as like a day on the job. 350 days, you're in no fixed abode at that point. Why are you paying rent, you know? I guess it's like a farmer who has to oversee his land every day. Like, I know people's fathers who do this, which is horrendous. I couldn't do it. Good luck to you, sir. But at least farmers live at the farm, so there's no commute.
How many times you wrestle? They say we wrestle about once or twice a month. I said, well, you're not a wrestler until you wrestle 7 days a week and every day of the year on the road constantly and living a hard life, living in motels and being away from your family and having hard times. Then you can call yourself a wrestler.
Aftermath. Poor V1 playing the TNA game to get the video game footage. It's hard, man, and the game really cheaps you. Like, you have to hit your finisher multiple times to win, to get the pin, but if the computer gets it on you once... By the way, V1 mentions, oh, so he just said meep. That is a Roadrunner bit from The Simpsons, where they just paid for meep once and looped it.
I started out as Roadrunner.
Meep. You mean meep meep?
No, they only paid me to say it once, then they doubled it up on the soundtrack. Cheap bastards.
And the last deleted scenes for Bound for Glory is in the aftermath. It was longer initially, about 100 seconds, but we jumped into each other's final thoughts, so man, you wouldn't miss it if it was gone. TNA raised the price of Bound for Glory from $30 to $35. No pushback from the fans. $35 is still a $5 less than WWE pay-per-views, which is a $5 less than UFC pay-per-views. What did you think of the pay-per-view overall?
I thought this was a great wrestling pay-per-view. Watched this in a single sitting. Had no pacing issues. I enjoyed absolutely everything. They took me on a great thrill ride and I enjoyed every single thing. Loved that they got out of the impact zone and they got to a fresh, hot crowd who were dying to support this company, and they did, man. They were so loud for everything. Fantastic.
Because the week to week is in Orlando Studios in Florida, and this is in Chicago.
People every week, and
just queuing up and then like getting put on a mustache and queue up again.
I'd say my one negative is the Jeff Jarrett booking in the main events. And I remember at the time begging Sting to not win this belt because, one, I was a big Joe fan. He needed a longer run and he needed a bigger push. But two, it's the third year in a row that he became the champion at Bound for Glory. I think he beat Jarrett in 2006. And he beat Angle in 2007, and he beat Joe in 2008, and he would main event Bound for Glory again in 2009.
So he's like the Undertaker in WrestleMania, well, the first 21 years.
Yeah.
You have to wait till Bound for Glory 2013, where him and Magnus shit the bed, and Sting loses by submission.
I think I may have been
in one of the worst matches. Oh my god, one of his worst matches.
Yeah, I was out.
Wow.
And he just can't fight anymore.
Whoa! And that's it for Bound for Glory. But oh man, V1, you got shafted here, didn't you? It's just that we each bring kind of different things to the review. Like, I'm more of the scaffolding. Like, I structure the review and go point by point. So this is what I want in the show. OSC doesn't say that much, so I keep in most of his stuff. So sorry, V1. Shit. But I hope you don't mind, and like everything that you do having is goals. So I'm just going to pull back the curtain a little here. We recorded Bound for Glory and Impact afterwards together in the same recording session. But it wasn't until after seeing we recorded for like 4 hours that I was like, we can't have this on the same video. We have to cut this into 2. I can't release a 3-hour episode, like, for your sanity, and also for me, so I can finalize one video, get that out the door, that's done with, and then work on the other one exclusively. But we only recorded one outro, which is why you hear the Bashir Rumble explosion spot, which happened on Impact, but is in the Bound for Glory review. So the next time we did a podcast session, we did some pickups. Like, we taped specific parts to plug into another video. So we recorded a new intro and outro for the Impact review. And I'll Frankenstein it together. And I'll Frankenstein monster it together. Since by that point the audio had been edited and I knew what we needed. And you don't know how sneaky I am. How deep the salt in the eyes go. Anyway, let's get onto the Impact after Bound for Glory. Let's do it to it.
I know that it's supposed to be Samoa Joe standing here as your champion. I also know, Joe, that you were the better wrestler, Joe. I mean, Joe, you took me places I've never been, Joe. That 10 minutes into the match, Joe, you had me beat, but you chose not to, Joe. Joe. And I took the 1, 2, 3, and I walked away, Joe. And it's gonna stay that way, Joe. Samoa Joe. You got the Joe.
Impact after Bound for Glory. Splitting the review into 2, I had to see which bits I could isolate and cut out from Bound for Glory and put into its own video, hence the Boys Stable, TNA Liverpool and Bound for Glory FanFest. Even though the FanFest takes place before Bound for Glory, it appears on the episode after. So the finished videos are 2 hours and 1 hour, which is far more palatable both sides. So most of Bound for Glory's deleted scenes make up this. With the Boys Stable, I'd been watching some old WWF and I was real happy to shoehorn a bit of war to settle the score into the show with a nudie towel piper.
No, wonderful, the planes.
Ordy Evans, Archibald Peck. The show briefly turns into a watch-along with his ceiling bump, as I'd saved it on my tablet to show the guys live when recording and just sync the audio together afterwards. I think it's kind of cool, because usually, like, we will just record audio and then we'll splice it to video and then we've kind of kayfabed it like it was live. But this bit was live. So anyway, I usually like to leave in a bit of off-mic audio just so you know it was actually done live, you know.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's great. That's
wow.
Great.
Meng, I'm really digging the ongoing feud with OC and Meng. It was hilarious watching him dig deeper and deeper and doubling down on it. And the punchline, perfection.
He is going to kill me, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so happy to politely force V1 to watch this in a nice way, you know. It's fun hearing him call a segment, so it's not just me all the time as well. Like, I love sitting back and hearing the lads review stuff so I can just chime in with jokes and insults. By the time we recorded the next show, Vegas Impact, I had gotten the Bound for Glory DVD with higher quality footage. I told V1, hey, and he told me, no fucking way, I'm watching it again, which is actually spliced in the show. I couldn't actually splice in the DVD footage anyway, as this DVD version literally cuts out 50% of the FanFest, from 30 minutes down to 15. All the juicy bits, like JB prodding Rhino to say Gore the whore, all cut. It's just boring kayfabe of AJ, Joe, Sting, and Jarrett.
As you well know, that we've traveled these towns all over the world, and Chicago's a stop that we hadn't made yet. And for us to bring our signature event, the
OC's section of TNA Liverpool was so great to get onto tape into a wrestling episode. Like, I know we touch on it during the Happening review. It was the same trip to Liverpool, but it was really cool hearing longtime fans ask and kind of slowly realised that it was the same trip. OC sent me the scans of his photos taken with a disposable camera. That's how it was in 2008, you know. We mocked him for it at the time, but sure, we didn't bring any cameras, so who's laughing now?
So this is Liverpool, England.
Impact! What did you think of OSC doing play-by-play? I had him read off my notes. Like, he'd rather not, and he kind of makes it obvious, as sometimes he questions remarks on it and fucking reads out my spelling errors. Like, he calls Bashir Bahor. Thanks. But he does it for me as a mate, so thank you, OC. He works really hard, long hours, and comes in after work to record. So by 11 p.m. or so, he's absolutely shattered. But having him do the play-by-play keeps him engaged and awake, so I was thrilled with how this turned out. And we'll do it again for the Impact After Turning Point. Small note, people really loved the update on Abyss, severe burns, no time off, he'll be here tonight. That line, I hope it wins a golden auger so I can lord writing it over OSC and demand a recount for all of his previous golden auger wins.
Commentators, update on Abyss, severe burns, no time off, he'll be here tonight.
Oh, by the way, Samoa Joe getting clapped back for shooting on Scott Hall, no showing last year's Turning Point. He recounted on Kurt's podcast that Joe, he's friends with Nash, who was having a real tough time with Scott Hall at the time, in and out of rehab. But anyway, if you want to hear it here on Kurt's podcast.
And I know Kevin at the time, because was really struggling with Scott, just caring about him, putting him in rehab, pulling him out. And like, he was going through it at the time with Scott, as his friend, as his brother. And, I said, sorry, Kevin was mad and shoved me and was pissed off about it. And I was just like, what? Yeah, I was like, you serious? Are you really mad? And then I apologized to Kevin the next day because I felt terrible about it. I felt terrible that, nobody had clued him up. Yeah. Nobody had communicated in the back, which is a huge problem in TNA, which is, kind of part of why I inevitably left the company, was just people not talking to each other. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Joe. Oh, by the way, I was informed by a lot of fans named Joe that they were freaked out at the Joe Supercut.
I also know, Joe, that you were the better wrestler, Joe. I mean, Joe. You got the Joe.
Smashing kayfabe, but since V1 made a point about Gonzalez, I edited in a joke where he says Gonzalez and we laugh. Complete fabrication. Did I get you?
Next match, Booker T versus Hernandez.
Ooh,
Gonzalez.
Just about Penzer getting beat up by Kurt Angle. One of my favourite things about doing an arc is seeing, what happens next. Also with that, if I think of something funny after we record, I can just bring it up next time. So in Vegas Impact, we have a bit on Penzer, what him selling sounds like. Oh! Laughing at my own jokes. There you go. I managed to pop one person in the comments with photoshopping Roxy into a punk record, The Slits, which I found hilarious as slit is slang for vagina. And I love Chris Nye's on-screen graphic of Saeed's health bar still being perfect after taking the rock bum bum. Mwah. Ooh, do you like that DNA transition for Morgan? New transitions from the latest Power Director. I still use just like from a roster, 12 of them, but there you go. By the way, Nash calling Consequences Creed Unconscious Creed after battering him, so clever.
This new generation of guys we got around here, Unconscious Creed.
It's very cool. I've kind of gotten in V1's brain as he just makes a call. Oh, he WCWs him. As I've been trying to get that over for years. It was super common in WCW. Well, the limited amount that I watched as a youngster and teen, where one guy exits the ring, he gets chased around the outside, and then jumps back in the ring. The other guy comes in, and so he attacks his pursuer. He WCWs him. Just watching us back, I like how in general, in this format, okay, usually the show after the show is way more relaxed and informal as the heavy lifting, so to speak, has been done by the pay-per-view review. We each chime in with different bits of the match to make a glorious whole. I am really a glorious whole. We kind of tag teamed it here. It flows real nice.
What happens in Vegas will be shared with the rest of the world.
Okay. All right, wait. What kind of announcement is this? Guys, we're Vegas!
And that's it for Impact. The episode closes out with the Vince XFL testimony animation by McCodum, which is wonderful. Oh man. Initially, this was taped as its own segment, actually last summer, when it first came out. And then it took a couple of months to get done, and then just sat on it until February, when the XFL 3.0 launched. So it was somewhat relevant. Lads in the comments section asked in that YouTube video if it'd be in an episode, and I thought, yeah, it's actually best to kind of canonize it, so to speak. So it is in an episode, so more people will see it. Just for me, it is jarring to go to WWE after spending an hour in TNA. But hey,
I was the owner. He's such a shyster.
That's incredible.
Also, it was cool as fuck to splice in the Macho Man as Wesker Resident Evil skit by Very Evil Ash 666. I died when I initially saw it and shared it everywhere, but I wanted to showcase it on an episode. He was very kind about it. Of course, I had the J all over it by sourcing, capping and syncing the segment in a higher quality. And since it had big black bars, I could zoom in to fill most of the screen as well. I had that bit saved to my tablet so I could show the guys in real time during the recording session. It was quite funny because someone in the comments was like, this isn't real. Macho Man wasn't Wesker. I can hear people laughing in the background. Yeah, he wasn't real. It was a joke.
One day on, one to go.
Okay.
Anyway, and the A Winner Is You was Little Bitch 123 Kid. Awesome little pixel animation by Scott Farris. Any other wrestlers you'd like to see in this A Winner Is You pixel format? Comment below. Okay, so that does it. Not that much meat on the bones for the Impact deleted scenes because it is a gigantic deleted scene from Bound for Glory. But hope you enjoyed us farting about anyway. I love doing the boy staples. Hearing V1's FanFest and OSC's Liverpool reviews, just wonderful for me personally. Yeah, it's cool. I love chatting to the lads, my two best friends. It's cool doing this show. And that does it for this double whammy deleted scenes vid. I will see you next time for Vegas Impact and Steiner Impact. Or if you're watching this in the future, click on the link in the description or on screen if Future Jay is on his game. Thank you so much for your support, bras, and support bras and 7% bras. I don't know. Thank you for letting me literally live out my dream of talking to my best friends and making silly bollocks content to pay the rent. Seriously, you guys keep the show going, and I thank you. I stand up, I walk straighter because of you guys. Okay, I'll wrap it up before I get too mushy. See you in the funny pages, and remember, a winner is you.